So same but different. I don't really care. Sounds pretty disappointing if you ask me. Hello everybody! Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, my name is Charlotte, and today I figured you and I together would read some popular TikTok books that have been popping off. That was weird. On my For You page lately. I got 3 books in mind and we're going to read them throughout the week. I'm going to read them spoiler free, so you don't have to. I mean, maybe you want to when I'm done. Who the fuck knows? I haven't read them yet. But first of all, we're going to get in the car and we're going to go pick up 2 of the books because the third one I have on my Kindle because I couldn't get it in time and I want to, I want to do it now. Right now. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start off on that one. Also, if I sound weird, I've been sick. We're going to go pick up our new books and then we're going to go talk about them and see which we're going to read first. Because I honestly don't know. Okay, so hear me out. We're back in the car. I went and got the books. I don't really know what all of them are about. I know that the first one is supposed to be emotional, and that is Into the Blue. And that's kind of all I know. But then I went and got Yesteryear because I feel like the concept of this one is very interesting. This is basically about a woman called Natalie. Natalie is a full-time tradwife influencer. She has 8 million followers, and she sells the farm fresh life. Everything that's behind the scenes, who fuck cares? She is living the dream, baby. But then one day she wakes up and it's 1805. She needs to figure out if this is like a reality TV show she didn't know she signed up for, alternate universe, and how to find her way back, because this isn't the tradwife life she wanted. She wanted to be a tradwife, not a stay-at-home mom. Okay? Know the difference. And then the next one I got, I feel like I'm gonna go in this trap every single time, because if there's one thing about me, I like long series. I like that if you enjoy the universe, all of that fun stuff, you can stay in the universe for a long ass time, like Dungeon Crawler Carl. But the thing is that sometimes I just want like a standalone or a duology. Something that is kind of a rapid fire that I don't need to invest the next 9 years of my life to. You know what I mean? And also I don't remember. So that doesn't help. So I got Half City. It's been all over my, all of these, all over my For You page. This one is about a 20-something girl, Viv. Her name is Viv, and she's an average 21-year-old girl. So now you know, she's a demon slayer, and she slays demons alone because she used to do it with her dad. She's not doing it with her dad anymore. And she doesn't tell anyone. She just goes out and slay bitch, But then, one day, from what I understand, someone shows up and tells her that, hey, bestie, you're really good at this stuff. Welcome to Demon Slayer Academy. That's not the name of the university. The university is called Harker Academy for Deviant Defense. Deviant Defense. So that's where she enrolls, and she's going to learn to be a better demon slayer. And slay, bitch. So those are the 2 that I picked up now. So hear me out. Into the Blue. I don't really know much. I don't know much. What I know, it's about AJ, and AJ has a dream about writing for like SNL or like bigger TV productions. But then she gets a job in a big TV production, and in comes, I think he's either like a producer or an actor or something. And I think things get a little bit mixed up, like what's fiction and what's reality. From what I understand, but I might be completely wrong. But if there's one thing about me, it is that I like to go into my books very blindly. Because I feel like tropes and everything, a lot of them are just spoilers. A lot of them are just plain spoilers. So I don't know what we're going to start with. I kind of want to start with one of these 2 because the other one I have on my Kindle. And I think maybe I'll start with Yesteryear. Because, I don't know, I want to. Maybe I'll start with Yesteryear and then we read Into the Blue. And then we finish with Half City because that's a duology. So I feel like finishing with a duology is a good thing, because if I really want to read the next one isn't out yet, I can slump a little bit and it won't affect these 2. You know what I mean? That makes sense for you guys as well, right? It doesn't just make sense for me. We're going to start Yesteryear. I do have the audiobook as well, so I might start the audiobook while I'm driving home. Everyone is going to be talking about this book. We're going to go. We're going to go home and we're going to read for as long as we can. I'm home. I am under my heated blanket because spring and summer left us and we're back in autumn. They forgot about us. And I did decide I am going to start yesteryear. I've read like 4 pages and I don't really know if I'm supposed to like this woman or not. And she talks about her husband and it goes, together through a near fatal combination of parental neglect and maternal sympathy, they had raised Caleb to be soft and spoiled and sweet. But the only thing more valuable than a person with God given traits is a person who is willing to learn. And my husband, that man, had been willing to learn. And who am I? A flawless Christian woman. Ew! That's kind of all I have to say about that. It is in a diddly do the next day. I've read almost 100 pages between yesterday and this morning. This morning I actually listened to the audiobook, and for the first time ever, I think, I ended up bringing the book with me into the bathroom so that I could stop the audiobook and tab and underline things that I really enjoyed, because there's something about this, the way this book is written, it feels very raw and honest. Because you're following Natalie, you're in her head. She's not filtering what she feels, but you also know when she's filtering what she is saying and doing outwards towards people. I think I said that it was set in 1805. It's set in 1855. So same but different. You know what I mean? Maybe it's still not like the best time era to wake up in. What do I know? I wasn't alive. I am, like I said, I am enjoying it a lot. It does have like not a heavy religious undertone, but she is very into her own religion, which is completely fine. If you're a religious person and you enjoy it, you, I don't know, have fun with it, whatever, good for you. But if you have problems with religious themes, this definitely isn't one for you. Or maybe it is. Maybe it's the perfect one for you. Read about it and figure it out. So far into the book, I've read a little bit of the time jump back in time. You read about what happens the day before the time jump. And you read about the time jump, and then you read about basically her college years, I would say. Like how she came to be who she was in this empire. I'm guessing that's where it's going. One thing I can say for sure is that I don't really know, like, I feel like Natalie always had the character traits to not be the most likable person. Maybe because she's a little bit closed off, maybe because she's from a small religious town, and going into like the big world, it's not always the easiest thing to do, not always easy to find your people when there's a lot of people around. But in a monologue is still pretty true to who, at least who I've seen that she is in today's society. So that's fun and games and all of that. She's religious and her husband Caleb is also religious. So you get to read about their wedding night. That was actually one of the most funniest scenes I've ever read in my life. I'll just read a little bit for you here. This is a long passage, but I'm just gonna read a little bit of it. It took several minutes for him to maneuver halfway inside me. It helped that I was wet. It didn't help that he was about as hard as half-risen dough. I felt like I needed to throw a dish towel over his penis and wait an hour to let it rise. Yeah. Sounds pretty disappointing, if you ask me. But she didn't, so it's fine. I am going to keep on reading a little bit now before I go down and do some work. I am hoping that I am going to be able to finish it today or tomorrow, but then I have a lot of reading left to do. But we have 2 more books to read, and we kind of need to get it going. You know what I mean? So we're going to jump on into it, and we're going to keep on reading. We're going to see how much of this we can get done within like the next hour or so. I just also have to say that even though there are like different timelines and you go back and you go forth and you go here and you go there, so far it doesn't confuse me. I feel like it's very clear when we are in the, if you want to call it, past timeline in the 1800s, when you're in the college timeline, and when you're in the social media presence timeline. I don't think that's confusing, because sometimes that can be confusing in a book, especially when like there's nothing in the book that indicates where you are. It's just what chapter you're on. So that happened to be 2 chapters just straight on after each other, so that's fun. I'm going to read a little bit. I'm going to sit in bed and I'm going to read, and hopefully get a little bit more of this done. I am excited to see where it's going. Okay, so I am a little bit over halfway through this little masterpiece, and I have to say, the way this book is written, it's very good. It is drawing parallels from today's society back to the olden days society. It's showing you basically what people are willing to do when they feel like they don't have a choice, and how easy it is to take those choices for granted for some people. Even though you're reading it all through her point of view, you still have Caleb there, right? And you see how differently they think in the way they are acting and the way they are taking control of the situation. Now, I don't know enough about, if you want to call it, American Christian religion to say that this is a true representation of all of the Christian families out there, because I'm guaranteed it's not. But I mean, I know enough to know that it's not. This isn't a true representation of every single Christian family that is out there, but it is representing some of them. It is representing some of them. It shows you how kind of, I don't know, important the way you grow up and what we install in our children, how important that is, because she gets things installed in her mind at a young age that now is just how the world works. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting. It's very interesting. I am having so much fun. I actually think that I might finish it today. It's just so intriguing. I finished it. I'm done with it. I don't really have that much more to say about it, because I feel like if I keep on talking, especially if I tell you what happens in like the last half of the book, I will spoil things from the book, and I don't want to do that. I can tell you though that even though it feels like you're reading 2 different timelines, it does make sense. It didn't confuse me. I didn't get lost in it. And the way they wrapped everything up at the end, it was very good. It was very, very good. This is definitely a 5 star. And you know, the point of this video is to tell you guys if the BookTok hype is correct or not. And in my humble opinion, this definitely deserves the hype that it is getting. I'm gonna rate it 5 stars. I would highly recommend reading it if you want to read about someone that's a little bit unhinged, because she is. Like, there's no way around it. She is a little bit unhinged, and you get that from like the first few pages. 5 stars. Highly, highly, highly recommend you picking it up and reading it. I don't want to tell you much more about what I read, because I do not want to spoil anything in this book. Just know that I was wondering how they were going to wrap it up and how they were going to make it make sense, and they do. They do make it make sense, and they did also wrap everything up in a way that kind of left me satisfied, but in the same way, I wanted more. I'm kind of sad that I read it first because now that I read it first, I'm afraid that the next one isn't going to be as good. But we'll figure it out as we go. Yesteryear, 5 stars. Highly recommend giving it a read if it intrigues you. Okay, so here is the thing. Since we last spoke, I did start Into the Blue. This one right here. It is about AJ and Noah. AJ wants to be a screenwriter, a scriptwriter, one of the two for like improv shows like SNL. Big dream. Big dream. Love that for her. Noah, don't know what his big dream is, but I think from what I understand, he turns out to be an actor. But don't quote me on that either. Now, this is a second chance romance. And one of the things that I really did enjoy with this one is that it follows a timeline instead of like the present and past chapters that we see in a lot of second chance romances, which means that if something happens along the way that make them not be friends anymore, I don't know, because they don't keep on mentioning it. You know when they go, oh yeah, if it wasn't for the accident, and you're like, what accident? And they just keep on going like nothing, because for them it's normal, but for you, you're just a little bit confused and it's supposed to kind of keep you on your toes. You don't get that here because it follows a timeline, which I did really enjoy. My brain works a little differently. ADHD, dyslexic, I sometimes from hour to hour have to switch up how I am consuming the media. So sometimes it's just audiobook, sometimes it's immersive reading, and sometimes it's just reading, depending on what mood my brain is when I decide that I want to keep on consuming the book. When I started, I didn't know that the book was in third person. It's not my favorite thing, but it is okay if the book hooks me pretty early on. I can kind of overlook it. And usually it works better for me when I listen to the audiobook when it's in third person than reading it. So I was like, I'll just get the audiobook and we'll be fine. I can just keep on jumping back and forth when I've kind of gotten into the groove of the book. Doing that turned out to be impossible for me. Long story, extremely short. I can't find my place in the chapter if I stop in the middle of a chapter that Audible says is an hour. Finding it takes up so much time that I just get annoyed. And yes, you can sync Audible with Kindle, I know, but I'm not reading the book on Kindle because it was cheaper over on Google Books. I don't want to pay more for a feature that doesn't always work for me. Sometimes it goes, this is the place you're at in the book. Oh, well, this is the place you listen to. So now you can go on and go forth and keep on reading from this point. But it doesn't do that when I read and I want to go over to the audio. Then the audio just starts where I stopped and I have to find it. And finding your place in the middle of an hour-long chapter is kind of hard. It's really hard. So I decided to just do it through audio because it's third person. I figured that's what would work best for me. Sadly, I'm not getting really hooked by the story. I am a little bit intrigued. I do want to see where it's going. I feel like we are really building a foundation of friendship. I feel like they are really like setting, I don't know, the barrier. That's probably the wrong word as well. But they're really building up for us to kind of see that this is like an epic love story. But I'm still not rooting fully for them. I feel bad for them. I wish them well. But if that's together or separately, I don't really care. And I don't know if that's because, I don't know, I feel like the audiobook is kind of not really reading it with that much emotion, or if I am just not really fully there emotionally. Some things have happened privately, so I might be in a little bit weird of a mood. But at the end of the day, the story isn't pulling me in. I'm realizing that having the present chapters and the past chapters in a second chance romance is kind of what I enjoy. I don't know if I enjoy this timeline type of storytelling, which maybe I will by the end. Who knows? I am going to keep on listening. But when I can't consume the book the way that I usually do by switching how I do it, it makes it a little bit harder to also fully enjoy the book, right? Because now I'm kind of just committed to audio. And sometimes I do that. Sometimes I just do audio because the narrators are fantastic. But a lot of the times I end up reading more because I'm not really connecting with the narrator, which makes it harder to connect with the book as well. So that's kind of where we're at right now.
I am gonna keep on updating you. Hopefully, when I say something again, it won't take this long. And I will also have more of a positive update that I'm actually really enjoying the story and that I'm really into it and that I'm rooting for them and that I love them and I want them to be happy and all of that jazz. Because right now, I'm just waiting for something to happen. I'm not even waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm just waiting for something to happen. You know what I mean?
Okay, so here is the thing. One, my dog is snoring. You're welcome. Two, I ended up soft DNFing into the blue. I really, really wasn't vibing with the book, with the narrator. I didn't really, like, the story wasn't grabbing me the way I felt like the story should. And I just kind of lost interest. I didn't care at this point in time. So, this is where we are. And I do want to pick it back up at a later date, but I was really I really wanted to sit and read or immersive read. And because I wasn't vibing with Into the Blue, I felt like I couldn't justify. That's the word I was looking for. I couldn't justify buying the ebook or a physical book when I wasn't vibing with the audiobook. You know what I mean? And maybe I'll buy it at a later date and I'll try reading it and see if that works better for me. But when I'm already in the headspace of this isn't working for me, why would I want to try now? Because it feels like I'm setting myself up for failure if I do it that way. So, what we are going to do is that we are going to start Half a City together. I haven't read a single page, I've just been sitting here and admiring the flop. But we're going to start Half a City together right now, and then I'll talk about what it's about and update you on my thoughts and feelings. Maybe later today or maybe tomorrow because I am home alone with the kids, so depends on how long I'll be reading. Yeah, I will just be sitting here with my dog reading for the next hour or so before I have to go to bed. Oh my god, it's 10:32 p.m. and some of you might go, that's early. Remember I told you guys before, I'm past 30, I'm 36. This is late for me. This is very late for me. I have to go to bed soon. But yeah, that's what's happening right now. We soft DNF'd Into the Blue. We are gonna start Half City and see what this is about. This is supposed to be a duology. The next book is supposed to come out in September. Let's hope that this is fantastic and that I just devour it, because I am afraid if I don't, that these TikTok books have just put me into a slump. And we don't want that. No, thank you. I have been reading this one, and you know what? I'm really, really enjoying it. I am. How far into it am I now? I'm this far into it. I've read 13 chapters, so a little bit under, a little bit over 100 pages. And let me tell you, I'm having so much fun. I don't know who I can who I can trust right now, because I mean she's at the school. She gets to the school pretty quickly. There's not a lot of chapters before she's at the school and you're in the school setting and you are kind of going through the motions with her, which I do enjoy. But I don't really know who I am trusting. Right now she has kind of connected with 4 other people and I have suspicions kind of against all of them. One I'm less suspicious of because she pointed out that there was something with their eyes, and I was like, okay, so either it is foreshadowing or it's there to put it in my mind that this person isn't either it's foreshadowing, like putting it in my mind that they are not good, or it's just put there to kind of throw me off the trail. You know what I mean? I have a feeling that there's somebody else we're supposed to look out for, but we don't really pay them that much mind right now. So that's interesting. But I'm having so much fun. I love this. I mean, I did really enjoy Zodiac Academy as well. I mean, I read like the first, I think I gave up in the 7th book. It just became too long for me. I was like, I don't need 1,000 pages where all they do is bang. You know what I mean? But so this is kind of giving the same vibes, but I mean, the writing is different, 100%. But I'm having so much fun. I'm having fun with Viv figuring out who she is. I'm having fun with Viv understanding her dad a little bit more. I'm having so much fun just I'm just having so much fun. Now, I do understand that it's supposed to build up to something. Right now, you are kind of just getting into the groove with her. She's had like 2 classes so far, and I'm hoping that the teachers, at least some of the teachers, are going to be a little bit more important to the story than other than just being annoying. But yes, I am kind of interested. Also, is that supposed to be the professor? Because he looks like a student. Okay, okay. I'm going to read a little bit, and while I am reading, I'm probably going to have a giggle.
Okay, so I'm this far into the book. I have this part left, right? And I think this one is it's really fun. It is kind of fast paced in a way. Still, the story isn't told too quickly. My dog is having a wheel time. The story isn't told too quickly, but it's still told. I don't know if that makes sense. But it doesn't feel like we're rushing through it, even though it's supposed to be a duology, because sometimes it feels like you just get thrown too much information, like just throw it in your face, you know? But it doesn't feel like that in this one. What I am thinking though is that I have a feeling that I know who the bad guy is, or at least part of like the bad guy team. I don't really think it's as obvious as I found it to be in Furybound is the second one. I can't remember what the first one is called. Diabound. I don't think like it's as obvious as it was in Diabound, but I do feel like it's like I kind of want to put a poke that way. I might be completely wrong though. I might be completely wrong. I also think that I don't know, there's something a little bit off with like the love interest. I'm not saying that the love interest is a bad guy. That's not where we're going. That's not what we're going at. I don't really know if I'm feeling them at this moment in time, which I feel like I should, but I don't. That might just be me though, and that might just be my mood. I am really enjoying her friend group. I do also feel like maybe some of her friends are not who they say they are. Because they always are. I just feel like that's a little bit like almost like a little bit of common sense, you know? There's always someone close to the heroine that stabs the heroine in the back. The question is just who of them? All of them? None of them? I don't really know. Or will they at the end go all, you know, it's been out for a while, I can say it, Diego on us and turn out to actually be a good person? I don't know, and I have a feeling that I'm not going to get the answers in this one either. So yeah, yay me, I guess, for picking this one up now. But I am having a lot of fun. I am. It's just hard to update you on it because if I say something that is a spoiler, you know, I don't want to spoil it for you, but I can't really say much without feeling like I'm spoiling it for you. I do have a few theories. We're not going to put them here. Maybe I'll put them at the end so you guys can skip that part if you are like really want to hear my thoughts. By that time, I might also, I don't know. But yeah, I am having fun. I am hoping that I am going to be able to finish it today. I am going to do a lot of it through audiobook because I have meetings and shit and stuff. No, I can't listen to it during a meeting, but I am a private chauffeur today, so I'm going to listen to it while I'm waiting to drive to the next place, and I'm going to bring my book along with me as well. My AC really wanted to join in on this conversation. Oh my god, chef's kiss. Everything is just going a-okay. But yeah, that's my update for now, and I'll see you in a bit.
Okay, so I told you guys I was going to finish it, and I did. I have a few thoughts on the ending of it. Is this like a fantastic, one of a kind type of fantasy book? No, no, it's not. It's not spectacular. It's not something new. It's not for something so different that you have to read it straight away. No, 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 it isn't. It does like the FMC kind of, in a weird way, reminded me of What's Her Face from Diabound because she's very stubborn. I don't know, in a way, like she thinks that she knows what's correct. And if she doesn't know what is correct, she will just assume that what she wants to do is the correct thing to do. But I did enjoy this way more than I did Diabound. I did see some of the twists coming. I did kind of understand a little bit of who we were supposed to trust and who we weren't supposed to trust. There were one twist that I didn't see coming at all, and the ending had me go, wait, what's happening now? I had such a fun time reading it. Now, I did do some of it through audiobook as well. And I don't know if the audiobook gives you a little spoiler. I don't know, because if you've listened to the audiobook, you probably know what I am talking about. I don't understand why one character gets his own voice, but the rest of them, it's the same one that keeps on talking all the time. So I'm wondering if that's kind of like an itty bitty little spoiler, because I just figured, oh, that character is very important. Clock the name, clock the time, you know? I feel like this character is going to be very important. But yeah, I had a fun time. It was really fun reading some fantasy again. Fantasy and, well, romantasy and I have like a love-hate relationship. I usually really enjoy reading the first book, and then I'm kind of just over it by the time the second one comes out. So I'm really hoping that the fact that it's not long until the second one of this one comes out and it's the final book in the series, that is not going to throw me off, if you know what I mean. Because it doesn't deal with like interconnected standalones, but with series, for whatever reason, if it takes too long before I pick it back up again, I'm kind of just over it. But yeah, I'm gonna give it 4.5 stars. This was fantastic. I had so much fun. I really enjoyed that. So that leaves us with 3 books read in this reading vlog. The first one, Yesteryear. I can't remember what I gave it at the start of this one, but I think I've kind of ended at like a 4.75. It's not all the way up there, but I have been thinking about it after I read it. I have been talking about it. I've been urging my friends to read it. So that makes me feel like it deserves a pretty high score on my end, especially when I'm randomly thinking about it. Then we had Into the Blue, which it's such a fantastic book. I feel I just didn't connect with the characters. Like I didn't really end up caring about them, which is sad to say because the characters are very complex. I do understand their love. I do understand, like I could feel their love for each other, but I still kind of wasn't rooting for them. So I decided that it was just, a soft DNF that I am afraid might turn into like a full-on DNF. Right now it doesn't feel like a book I want to pick back up, but we're going to say soft DNF for now. And then we had Half City, which is, the fantasy book we just finished, and I gave that a 4.5. So all in all, a pretty good reading vlog, if I do say so myself. Now, here's the thing. Do I recommend you reading these books? Well, yeah, I do, kind of. Yesteryear, I do feel like, especially in the society we live today, is a very important book to read. So I would highly recommend picking it up, reading it, see what the hype is about if you like those types of books. If you only read dark fantasy, dark romantasy, high fantasy, naturally it isn't for you, but you might also not have clicked on this video. Into the Blue, I think I would have enjoyed it more if I physically read it than listening to the audiobook. I wasn't really vibing with the audiobook, but the fact that, because like I've explained earlier in this video, how my brain works and how I do reading, it just didn't really vibe for me. And usually if I really vibe with the characters or I really vibe with the narrator, I can still get through it, but I just didn't. So here we are. And then Half City. Now, I think this is a great book if you want to try getting into romantasy, if you want to try and like kind of dip your toe and kind of see a little bit what it's about. If you enjoy like Shield of Sparrows or maybe even like Fourth Wing, this doesn't have dragons and stuff like that. This has a school setting. It's kind of, I don't know, a fantasy academia type of setting, but I did really enjoy it. So all in all, if you haven't already read it, I would recommend reading it. Maybe wait until the the next one comes out if you're like me and you kind of get over it. But all in all, I really, really did have fun. Now I need to get ready because Tom and I are going out for dinner, and then we're going to go to the movies because we're going to go on a date. Okay, that was this reading vlog marathon, whatever it is we're going to call it. Have you read these books? What did you rate them? Did you enjoy them? Do you think I should pick up Into the Blue again and give it like a final little spin and see if I enjoy it, maybe in physical form? Thank you guys so much for spending some of your precious time with me. I really, really do appreciate it. Hopefully I will get to see you all in the next one. Bye bye.